Welcome to today's Explainer. You know, when we were kids, we were absolute experts. I mean, literal virtuosos at learning new words. It was basically a superpower we all just naturally possessed. But something really surprising and honestly maybe a little tragic happens to that superpower as we get older. Our ability to pick up new words changes dramatically. So today, we are going to figure out exactly how to get that superpower back. Because there is just a staggering contrast in how we learn words over time. By the age of 10, a typical child has a recognition vocabulary of over 20,000 words. Think about that. They've been absorbing hundreds of new words every single year since they were about 4 years old. But adults, especially adults who are no longer in school, we slow down to an absolute crawl. We're talking maybe 25 to 50 new words a year. So what on earth happened to us? Do we just completely lose our innate, powerful urge to learn? Okay, let's dive into this because the stakes here are actually way higher than just, sounding smart at dinner parties. Your vocabulary is a measurable, undeniable predictor of your success. Real studies by the Human Engineering Laboratory found that a large vocabulary correlates directly with high executive salaries. And over at the University of Illinois, researchers discovered that a simple vocabulary test accurately predicted a student's entire 4-year academic success. Even standard IQ tests are intimately, directly related to your vocabulary size. See, words aren't just arbitrary little labels that we're forced to memorize. As the Human Engineering Laboratory puts it, they are literally the tools of thought. They're the core instruments we use to grasp the ideas of others, and they're what we use to do our own thinking. So obviously, the more tools you have in your mental toolbox, the more complex and nuanced your thoughts can actually become. So, how do we actually fix this adult vocabulary slump? Well, we're turning to Norman Lewis's classic book, Word Power Made Easy. And I promise you, this isn't just some boring list of big words you have to memorize. It's a complete paradigm shift. It is a really simple, step-by-step method designed to rapidly increase your mastery of the English language and pull you right out of that slump. The secret sauce to this entire method relies on just one concept: etymology. That's the study of the origin or derivation of words. Lewis argues that we really shouldn't be rote memorizing dictionary definitions. That doesn't work. Instead, we need to learn the structural roots of words, the prefixes, the roots, and the suffixes. It's kind of like learning the underlying source code of the entire language. To prove just how instantly effective this method is, we're going to do a rapid-fire workshop right now, based on the book's first session. Let's talk about personality types. First question, see if you can guess it. What do you call a person who is interested solely in their own welfare? The kind of person whose only question is always, what is in it for me? That's an egoist. They possess this really ruthless, self-advancing attitude, where their own greed always comes first. Okay, now for the exact opposite. Who discovers true happiness by dedicating themselves to others? Someone who is constantly asking how the next fellow is getting along? You guessed it, that is an altruist. They are the polar opposite of the egoist, dedicating all their time and energy to the welfare and benefit of everyone around them. Next one. Think of someone who minutely examines their every single thought and feeling. They really prefer solitude, they avoid crowds, and they totally agonize over what people think of them. An introvert. Their thoughts and their interests are constantly turned inward. They might seem quiet and shy, but their inner mental life is incredibly active because they're just constantly analyzing their own reactions to the world. On the flip side, who never worries about dignity, absolutely loves being around people, and is always the life of the party? Right, an extrovert. For this kind of person, their thoughts, their interests, and really their entire personality are turned outward toward the external world and all the people in it. Now let's go for a slightly darker profile. Who cynically hates all of humanity? Someone who believes that the stupidity and meanness of mortals is just an unbreakable rule. That is a misanthrope. They are embittered, suspicious, and they harbor a really deep-seated hatred for pretty much everyone around them. And finally, our last personality profile, who lives a lonely, austere existence of total self-denial. This is a person who completely avoids all earthly, fleshly pleasures in the pursuit of spiritual perfection. An ascetic. They voluntarily choose a life of rigorous hardship, adopting a super simple lifestyle that compares directly to that of a lonely monk. And this brilliantly illustrates the true power of etymology. We just learned about several personality types, but let's pause and actually look at where those words come from. Ego is Latin for self, or I. Alter means other. Verto means to turn, which perfectly explains an introvert turning inward and an extrovert turning outward. And misane is the Greek root for hate, which gives us misanthrope. By understanding these ancient building blocks, the English words suddenly make perfect logical sense. So here is the absolutely crucial point. One root unlocks 10 to 20 new words. It's like a cheat code for the English language. It's absolute magic. Because once you know ego, you don't just know egoist, you automatically have a handle on egotist, egocentric, and egomaniac. Knowing alter hands you altruism, alternate, alternative, and altercation right on a silver platter. You aren't just memorizing individual, isolated words anymore. You're actually acquiring the master keys to the whole language. Now, to really conquer that adult learning slump we talked about, the book gives us a few vital rules. First, don't gorge on vocabulary. Space your learning out and go at your own comfortable speed. You have to review constantly and test yourself to prove you're actually making progress. But most importantly, stick to a schedule. You've got to make expanding your mind a daily routine. Which brings us to our final question. We started by looking at that massive gap between how a 10-year-old learns words and how an adult does. But you have the tools now. You understand the secret of etymological building blocks and roots. So will you recapture your powerful urge to learn? Will you stop the adult slump today and start continuously expanding your tools of thought? The choice and the words are entirely yours.